guys, and we are live finally. Sorry for the delay, but listen, we are going to get this done for you guys tonight. Just welcome, first of all, welcome to Wife Talk. This is Jamie,
Jamie.
I'm Kia, and we are Wife Talk, and we are talking to women and those that are married and looking to become married, all about how the the role of a woman and the role of a wife. And so today we have a special guest. Am I throwing it to her already, Jamie? I'm throwing it to her.
Yeah, you're like, I was gonna say that, right? And then you
Go ahead.
say you introduce her because you know her, right? So that but we have a special guest, and it is a dear friend to you. It's your best friend, right? Right?
That's my bestie.
Okay. It's her bestie. And so I'm gonna let her introduce her bestie because it's always good to hear how you just gas your friend up, right? So let's
yes. So I'm about to gas her up real big. Like this girl, me and her have been rocking for a long time. For decades now, but this is Shatara Baker. She's a wife, a mother, a lover of God, a servant leader, guys, and she's definitely one of this is my number one friend, my bestie, Miss Shatara Baker. Come on in, welcome.
And I will say that I had the pleasure of speaking to your bestie, and I fully understand. I fully understand. Your bestie is fine. Okay, no.
It's important to have those types of relationships, those women that praying for you and not praying on you. Like that's a vibe. That's a whole vibe. So I love it. And today, we wanted to talk about, the reality of marriage, right? What it really looks like, because we've already talked about the dream and the reality of what we have an idea of what we think it is. And so I just thought it was fitting to really dive into this video real quick and how Myron describes marriage. And then we're going to just roll from there.
All right, let's see. It's a pretty short clip. I'm about to hit play.
Because marriage between a man and a woman, in every aspect, including the physical aspect of intercourse, is a picture of Christ and the church. What does that even mean? Well, it's a physical representation of a spiritual reality. I'm going to say that one more time. It is a physical representation of a spiritual reality. And that's why the Bible speaks out against fornication. What is fornication? Any kind of sexual sin. A man having sex with a woman and they're not married. That's called fornication. Neither one of them are married, or one of them is married and one of them is not. That's called fornication. A man is married having intercourse with a woman who's not his wife. That's called, or vice versa, a woman having intercourse with a man who's not her husband, but she's married. That's called adultery. Adultery is a form of fornication. Fornication is any kind of sexual sin, but adultery is a particular kind of sexual sin. Homosexuality is a different.
All right, we're going to stop right there because he goes into other segments that we don't want yet. We don't want any of those segments yet.
But when you heard that, Jamie, when you heard that, what did you think? Did you think not just the basis of like this is the foundation, this is what marriage is, but what did you think about that clip? Because you haven't taken that journey yet. So what do you think of it?
What, that fornication is just wrong all the way around? I wish that I would have known the spiritual aspect of sex before even engaging in it. Like, so you grow up, people say you're having sex and they only give you the physical of that. They don't say, oh, if you lie down with this person, you become one. Well, what does that mean? You become one. You don't realize it till you got all these problems later on in life. And you're like, I didn't have these problems before I laid down with such and such. And I didn't have this issue until I laid down with this person. You see what I'm saying? But if I could go back, I would agree with him. Like, no, I would have said no. You don't miss what you've never had, right? So I wish I never had it.
Right. And here's the thing. This is a good conversation to have because me and Shatar talk about this all the time. We talk about, I wish someone would have they told us the physical stuff, like you said. Right. Everyone told us, don't do it. You get pregnant, But no one tells you the spiritual aspect of it. And me and her talked about it. It's like, man, when I talk to my nieces, when I talk to the young people that's coming up behind me, I'm not going to just tell them the physical aspects of what the likelihood and all the negatives and even the good. I'm going to tell you the spiritual aspect of this, because see, what happens is you don't realize the soul tie you create, because you do lay down and become one with that person. So I created a soul tie that I had to fight to try to break, because that wasn't the person I was intended to marry. So now I had to go through all kind of cleansing and fasting to break something that I had no idea was something so a hold of me. I had no idea until I came across a woman who was further down the line who's telling me about soul tie. And I was like, what is that? What is that?
Right.
Whole time, guess what? I have it. I have it.
Yep.
And I know, Shatar, you got your own journey with that, but me and her talk about this. This is what we talk about.
Yes.
She's just shaking her head like.
As we don't. And I have mentored some girls, and I told them, think about 2 sheets of paper stuck together.
Right.
And then you try to break them apart. Some of you go with that person, and the rest of some of him come with you. So y'all trying to break apart, and you want.
And then you got that one little thin piece right there. Exactly. You know, where you're like, dang, why can I just get that one, the whole piece of paper? You be so mad.
Right? They're like, wait a minute, why am I tore apart? Why am I? And the whole time you realize he used to spaz out, and then all of a sudden you spazzing out to you acting just like him.
Right.
That's deep.
So it's like, that's what I tell the young people. Like, once you put together and rip it apart, some of you go over there, and some of him come with you. And you gotta look at, it's so much stuff. It's so much meat in that. And if I would have told myself, oh baby, if I would have listened and stopped listening to the world,
right?
No, ma'am.
They were like, be free, YOLO. No, you do only live once, okay? And so once you get all these ties, like, they don't tell you how hard it is to break all of those things off of you, and you be spending the rest of your life like, I just don't even want to. I don't want nothing that has to do with that person.
Right.
And here's the thing. You know, when just thinking from that aspect, we want women, when they see this, to really be okay with separating yourself from the world, because the world will make you think and believe that it's okay to be fit in over here, that we don't judge you over here and all that kind of stuff.
They do judge them.
Exactly.
Like, here's a part where it's so contradictory. Like, a man would be like, I don't want a woman that has slept with a lot of men, but if she sleeps with me on the first date, then I put her in this category. And if she does this on the first date, then I put her over here. You're judging. You're telling this is definitely a man's world in some aspects, because they really be messing with our heads. In one aspect, they be like, do this. And then in the other aspect, you can't do this either, right? And you're like, well, what do you want me to do? But the whole thing is, we don't even need to know what they want us to do. We just do what God wants us to do, and then you have to rise to that occasion. Because if we listen to the world, we'd be plumb crazy in real life.
Absolutely. Now, what I liked about this, because I went back and watched watched it over again, and he says so much. There's so much meat in what he's delivering here, and this complete message of what he's delivering here. But I mean, even to my clip where he talks about submission, that's a big. I mean, I don't know how you guys felt about it. I mean, we could show it, but I mean, I don't know how you felt about it. But this is. I wish I had this. And not only did I wish that I knew the breakdown of sex like that, but I also wish it's around 5:45 to like 6:05, something like that. But
okay,
not,
I'm about to.
You found it?
You want to play it now, or you want me to wait?
Yeah, you can play it now. You can play it now. We can come back to it because like I said, this was some really good stuff.
It started without me asking it to. It did.
Nice to all our technical difficulties for tonight.
Oh yeah, one day it's gonna run smooth.
Ephesians chapter 5, it says that a wife should submit to her own husband. A lot of people have a hard time with that. I don't know why. It's like submit doesn't mean he owns her. Submit, the word submit means to place yourself under the protection, the provision. You place yourself under another. That's all it means. You place yourself under. And because a man's position and a woman's position are different, it does not make one better and one worse.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
so how do you feel about that?
So I wish I would have had this information. I really do. I really wish that this information was something that was easy access, like so much other stuff has easy access. People have easy access to all this stuff of the world. I wish this was easier access for me coming up as a young lady, because one of the issues I had around submission was I felt that it made my husband was better than me and something like that. It was a sense of ownership.
Oh.
And I ain't like that. I'm independent. I do me. And so
I'm like, wait, okay. What was the root of that though? Like, why'd you feel like that? Oh, okay.
Real today.
No, I'm just trying to like.
Because what we do is we be in free around here. This free.
Right.
We transparent. Because I'm just trying to, and so in my household, what I did learn was submission, because my mom, she's a foreigner, so she's from Belize, and so that is what she was trained to do. It just comes to her naturally to do that, right? So even if my dad did not deserve submission, he received it. So she was giving submission to a man who did not need to receive that type of submission, because for him it was power. Does that make sense? Rather than being a leader,
right? No, you know.
So when I hear another woman say that like submission equal that, like that thought process, it kind of is like, well, is it us that's the problem, or is it the way that men are being raised to think that submission equals power? You know what I'm saying?
Probably a combination of both.
Yeah, because I was just like, and I have a problem with the same thing too. Like, I'll be easily submissive, but then I'm like, wait, you don't even deserve it because you're not a leader. You're just mean.
We got to get into it.
You're just being a bully.
You're just being a bully, and I'm not even trying to do that right now with you. I thought this was what I was supposed to do naturally, and you're taking advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's not okay. So, okay, I'm ready to listen, because right now I'm sitting here like, what do we do? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay.
It's I mean, even I did it. I will say something. I feel strong. I'm very strong-minded, and I come from a one-parent background, and my husband come from two, and I watched a strong woman in her mind had to be two roles in the same role. So I knew how to do things, and my mom passed away when I was 24, so I was on my own. I knew how to do things. So when me and my husband came together, it was like, you don't know what you're doing? I've been doing this, and this is me. Let's be real. That's how it was. Like, I've been on my own for X amount of years. When was you on your own? I'll wait. Girl, I was ruthless, but then when I start understanding what
it's real for me.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I don't have to say anything. Okay, all right, and not saying that you're doing it out of to be condescending is the wrong word, or maybe it is the word that I want to use. Not to say, okay, well, you have it. I remember doing premarital counseling. And I said, well,
I
what
didn't like having you down there. Sorry, I just trying to switch it up. I just didn't like having you like below us. It was bothering me. I felt like we just needed to be all even.
Right.
Sorry. I was just like, let me try this out and see if this could put us all in the same row.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all. I'm sorry, y'all.
But okay, so when we had premarital counseling, the pastor told us, like, you know, when you both come to an agreement about something, not even come to an agreement, you state in one thing, I think we should do this. And then your husband saying, I think we should do that. And I asked the question. So if I see him about to run us in the brick wall, I'm supposed to just sit there? And he was like, no, that's when you pray and ask the Lord to reveal his will. And it's like, okay. And it's been plenty of times, and we both operating out of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is going to align us together.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Initially, when you started that process, was there a time where you told on him and he still didn't listen?
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm just, you know, like.
But the thing is, it almost was like, okay, you know what? All right. I'm like, Lord, you better go get your son, because I ain't look. If he gonna have us running to, and I will have to tell him. But then also your delivery as well. I can't boss up on my husband like that. Like, girl, calm down. Like, seriously, I can't boss up on him.
So let me tell you, like, for me, the only time that I boss up is when I feel like you about to mess up the money. Like, when you about to mess up the money, we got a whole problem. Like, when I see the bank account going closer to zero, we gonna have, I'm gonna act ratchet. And so,
but okay, so, but what's your core there? That's the fruit. That's the reaction. What's the core there?
My core is I don't ever want to be broke ever again. So, like, we have went, you know, from, like, my household was like this. Like, my mom was like, she would be able to, she's a multiplier, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my dad would give her something and she would just make it happen.
Right.
But then when my dad wanted to be like my dad, do whatever he wanted, he would just spend up whatever she multiplied, right? Or he'd get in trouble. And then we would have to, like, take everything that she has and literally start life over. So we would be at this high pinnacle, and then we would be dirt broke, like to the point where I would have to break a piggy bank and stuff like that. So my fear is anytime, like, listen, that money gets funny, it's like a tragedy for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that it's just tragedy. If you want to see me in my feelings, I'm like, oh no.
I'm like, over. My husband, we both put in money, but one thing I've learned to do, we have savings account. Okay. I have full control of both savings, and he does as well. But one thing I learned to do is, okay, I'm gonna do, not saying that I'm just stronger than him in that area. Not trying to say he's not capable of doing that. I'm just the stronger one in there. So when I see, like, money looking funny, it's like, all right, babe, this is what we got. This is what we're rolling with. It's up to you whether you want to take that. Yeah. But then also, I share with Kia on this. Look, we came into some money, and my husband knew that. No, my husband did not know it. I just put little by little, because I put majority in the savings. He had access to it. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I hid that part from him.
Right.
Yeah, we came across some money, but when he pulled it up, it's like, oh, all he sees, because that's all he chose to download. No, I got all. And I know, like, you know what, you being too careless. Let me just transfer that much money. And it's because, and we both had an understanding. He was honest with me. I'm not good with money. When he paid, here, I know when the bank account hit, I tell him these are what's due. I take that money out. We both got allowances, and that works for us, and put everything in savings. I know how to, girl, like this.
You make it right.
But
what about What do you do, Kia? What do you do?
So I am her husband in this scenario. I am y'all significant others in this scenario. And I have to be real, shame the devil now, but that's the truth. Like my husband knew, like he was like, Kia, you ain't as great as with money like he is, but he's like a savant in it. Like I'm like he knows about the wealth building and like how much interest is going to be on here in the next year, like what the compound is going to look like. Like my husband is super equipped. Like I'm not that equipped. Can I do basic add and addition? I know what's in it. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. But you know what I need is I still need that. Like give me an allowance. That like I'll be honest. Like I just need allowance. Just give me an allowance because that way I know what I got and I know that you handle it everything else to make sure that we got everything else in the future. Because yeah, just save the trouble, save your headache, save his headache, his stress, his gray hair coming in, and just give me allowance.
Okay. All right, so I get it. I got both perspectives. Like if you not good with the money, and then if you are good with the money, what it kind of looks like. Oh
yeah,
okay.
But even in this clip though, what I was taken back from is when he said it's just you're in different roles.
Right.
You're just in different roles. And so we like to try to make our roles like with the same because that's what the world wants us to do. They want us to make there's no divide. Like men can be women and women can be men. But there is a clear division and we are separate. But like you said, you're separate but equal. But the thing is, here's the thing. This is what I got from it when I listened to it on. I said, "Thank you, Lord, thank you for the Holy Spirit," because when he said it it just means my right arm can be my left, and he's like, it just means that you're up under the protection, the provision of that person. And guess what women want? Guess what we want?
Safety.
We want that. So naturally, and like just because that's a natural desire in us, that's how God created us.
Right.
So it just doesn't make sense. I've always, that whole independent attitude that I had and idea I had, I prided myself on that because my dad was like, don't depend on no man. You don't know if you're going to get a man. So guess what? I bossed all the way up in that area. And I didn't have to.
Right.
And it's no kick at my dad, but that's the truth. Like I bossed all the way up. And then guess what solidified that for me? My mom handled everything. My dad was in the service. My dad was always gone. My mom was here at the house. She handled everything. So that's what I'm seeing growing up. So even though they're married, they've been married 30-something years, but that's what I've seen. Okay, my dad told me to be independent and da-da-da. And then guess what? This is what it looks like. My mom taking care of everything. And so now I'm just really learning to be in my role, to be soft and to be a woman and not worry to try to be in his position and to let him know, no, bruh, this ain't your position over here. This is my position. And one of the things I used to tell him that all the time, I'm like, whoa, this is me over here. That's you over there. And it's not to say I'm trying to be rude or disrespectful to him. That's just the truth. You stay in your role. I want you to stay and thrive in your role. And I want you to want me to stay and thrive in my role. And that's the message I got from that when I heard it again. I was like, dang. And that's exactly what most women want nowadays. We want to be protected and taken care of like that. And I'm not saying that he takes care of all the bills, but just taking care of and protection. All my needs are met. My husband covers the things that he should be covering, right? And so I can rest in my role,
right,
confidently.
Right.
And so that's what I got from this time. I was like, oh, Lord, thank you so much for that Holy Spirit. Because
it was like a breath of fresh air because, like I said, I come from a single mom and she did everything. She did it well. And then I'm on my own. Versus my husband, like I said, grew up more like you, Kia. His dad was in the service, his mom was home. And things like that. And even when it's time to think about this, when you're worried about something, and you're like, oh my gosh, what I'm gonna do? And you have someone to say, you worrying about the wrong thing. I got this. You know, you like, man, I can rest. I can do that. That's how I feel, because I would go to my husband, babe, we need to do this, or we need to do it. What we want to do about it? He'll say, babe, you worrying about the wrong thing.
The wrong thing, yeah.
And I used to be like, bet. Like,
go sit down somewhere, basically.
Exactly. And he times when he have to say that, like, you need to chill. You need to fall back, because that control tries to come up, but Will is headed, and he got to tell it, bag back. I got this. Like, stay in your role. You told me about it. I take care of it. And what I have to remember, just because I think you should take care of it in the manner and the time that you should take care of it, is he ain't gonna do
that now, right? Wait, say that one more time.
Listen, it's like, and it's times where they'll do it at the last minute, baby. Right. And it's like, what can you do? At the end of the day, what? It's done.
It's done.
It's done. Now, and sometimes it's like, all right. And then sometimes it's like, it ain't done. And it's like, well, I told you.
And we can't say that.
No, and that's the thing. It's like, I remember premarital counseling, he said that. And he said, and you better not say, I told you so. It was one time, like, we were supposed to do something, and I told my husband about it. When is it due, Shatara? I said, next Wednesday. Okay. Guess what? Wednesday came around, we was walking out the door. I said, did you do such and such? He's like, when is it due? I said, today. He said, why didn't you? And I looked at him like, you better not spit that out your mouth. Like,
throw their head to the side, like, sir.
Oh, I did. I just looked at him like, and he had to stop because he knew I remind him, but we dropped the ball sometimes. So,
yeah. Oh no,
Jamie, how you feel about submission, knowing that that's going to be your role and how to fall into it? Because I think you have a great advantage because you're getting this before you really step into that role.
So I feel like, you'd be like in the training ground before it actually happens. So like, oh no, for real, this is real. Like, so like right now I am in this thing where it's like my normal is if they don't do what they say, right? Then I just make it happen anyways. No matter how much stress it puts on me, no matter how much I have to put my other stuff to the side, I make it happen anyways. But God said, why don't you just do what you're supposed to do? And let everything else do what they got to do. Because you're being their God. Like, you're picking up the slack for them, and they're never going to learn or appreciate the fact that you do that. You get what I'm saying? And it's really not your job to. So something happened, and my normal in my spirit was like, make it happen anyways. And for 2 days, I feel like I was on punishment by the Lord. Like, just sit down somewhere, for real. And so I woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make it happen. I ain't going to make it happen. And do you know how free I feel? I'm going to do what I'm responsible for in this scenario. And that's it. And when somebody says, why isn't this happening? I'm going to tell the truth. I'm like, well, we can't do it because that's what it is. Because I did my part. And it should not always be all on me. So as far as like listening to submission and the roles and being leaders, I mean, like, you guys are just giving me confirmation on what he told me to do. Sit down somewhere. Sit down.
I've seen someone say that women have to understand their power in silence.
Yes.
And the truth. It's like we have to understand. We can say so much without having to say a lot. And the thing is, for women, we're talkative beings. We're gonna do this thing, and
sometimes you just be tired of hearing yourself say the same thing. You be like, I just said that. I just said, okay, you know what? I'm done talking.
Right. And
I'm done talking.
Because I'm so used to. I'm very vocal, so if I'm bothered by something that's going to show on my face, I'm going to say it, and that's that. But sometimes
look at my face right now. I'm still bothered by it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's one thing I had to learn was you don't have to say it. You go to the, you don't, he know what he did. He know what he didn't do. So you telling him what he did or didn't do, he know it because he did it. And one thing I have to do is remember, you go to God. You go to God, and my bishop would say, wait one moment. I'll be right with you. Go upstairs and pray and tell the Lord, let me tell you what your son did. Even though the Lord knows, it's really like, you know what? That.
Right.
Yeah.
And are you?
I told every day. Every day I'd be like, you know what else?
And another thing.
But Jamie, let me tell you something. What I had to learn in this too, because me and Shatar talked about it, like, and I went to God and I bared it all, Shatar. And I'll be telling her, like, and I bared it all. But we have to also remember that they are just as loved as we are, and God sees them like that. And so, because I was in all like, because he ain't doing what he's supposed to do, and God had to remind me, like, yo. And Shatar reminded me of this, like, we have to remember they still God's child too.
Right.
They his child too. And he's gonna honor their, he's gonna honor the marriage, because this is what he created. I mean, he's not gonna renege on that. And it's our own fault if we are connected. We have connection the wrong way. We go about connection the wrong way, because that's that beginning. That's where it goes back to the beginning, the fornication and all that kind of stuff. When we go out of order, sometimes we get to the end and it's still out of order. Right. And so now we're walking down the aisle and it's out of order.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. And I think that even if we start with the foundation being God, and then friendship and all of that stuff, and we add sex in before, God blessing that covenant and making it official, we still mess up. Yeah. And I wanted to make sure that, because I've done it. I just want to make sure that everybody hears that part too, because you can't just add that in when you feel like it, because you feel like you did the other two right too. And but what I've been hearing, and I don't know, I'm saying, because sometimes they got the prophets going on right now on the YouTube talking about kingdom marriages and all of these things, right? Oh, yeah. And prodigals and all of that stuff. I don't know if y'all, but it's really just, it's okay. It's like a flame of wildfire. I really, at this point, I've been looking like, I can't tell who's a real one or who just waits till somebody comes out with something and then copies it at this point. But I was saying that because sometimes when you hear them speak, it's almost like they're leading people into the sick bed. Does that make sense? To play around with Jezebel. It's like, do this out of order, but then it's like, okay, if this happens, God will, kind of like pacifying the fornication sin, but not explaining how detrimental that is to the process. Like, how you can set somebody back by doing that, like how you could even set the spouse, the man, back, because somebody said something today, Tony Gaskins, he said, lust never is satisfied. You can only feed it. If you feed it, it's going to continue to want to eat. You have to starve that thing.
Yep. You got to.
That's true.
Myra had said something later on, and I can't remember how it all goes, but it was like creation, connection, and another C word, and I can't recall what it is, and I don't have the marking on it, so don't ask me. I just remember him talking about that, and what he said was connection is essential, and when it's broken, or when it's broken down, you get a lot of, because he's like, in the beginning, people are happy to go home to their husbands, right? I'm happy to go home to my husband. The husband's happy to go home to their wife. And the reason why that switch happens, or you see it later, like, oh my goodness, it's so heavy to come home, is because when that person comes home, or when they're home already, they're trying to fix the other person. And what I realized is sometimes, and my mom had told me this too. She was like, you have to get out of trying to fix each other. You gotta get out of that. There is a way to go about making sure that you guys are cultivated the right way and cultivated up into what you're supposed to be. but you can't fix each other. And when that becomes your responsibility, when that comes your sole attention, then you get all of the extra stuff that you don't want to deal with. Oh, I don't want to talk to him. You feel, even as a woman, you feel the connection is not there. I'm trying to reach out to my husband, there's no connection. Or the husband's trying to reach out to the wife and there's no connection. And I just thought he is so spot on. And that's right there in Genesis. That's right there in Genesis. Right there in the first chapter.
No, because they just stupid. Sorry.
But it's the truth. It's right there in the beginning.
I had to get it off my chest and then I'm done.
It's so amazing that God gave us the blueprint. It's like he gave us the blueprint on how to operate in marriage right there. Creation, we're supposed to support, be creative, and even when you hear the cycle of the man goes off, first it starts off a boy, stays with his parents, then he goes off, leaves his family, goes and works hard, then he realizes, man, I want somebody to share it with. And then he comes back together with a woman, and he finds a woman, he settles down with her, and then he feels complete. But it's because that creation there, she's looking to have someone help cheer him on too. And so, this viewpoint of marriage is spot on, and it is definitely a biblical view. And I think women, those that are in their single season going into their marriage season, you can learn a lot from this, because I still did. I learned so much with, oh my goodness, when one part of our C's are broken down, like I said, I can't remember the other one, but when it was broken down, I was like, oh, this is why, oh man, this is why that happened, or this is why, oh, I can see now why. And it's like I needed something like this prior to marriage, but I'm glad that I have it now that I'm in marriage, because you never too far gone. Like you're not, and for those people that's even on the brink of, man, I just don't know, because I've seen a lot of that on my even on my timeline, where people are just kind of like, you could tell they're no longer either happy or together with that person anymore. And it's just like, you're never too far gone. You just look, especially when you're married, it's like if you could just look at this and see what C needs fixing, I think you could make it through what you're making it through. Because this viewpoint was definitely it was such a blessing to my life, and man, I really hope that was a blessing to everyone that was watching as well.
Right.
I got a question I'm going to ask, and then either one of y'all can answer it. Because I think we touched on it a little bit, Kia, when you were talking about what you thought marriage was, but I don't think I heard Shatara.
Huh?
I don't think I heard.
Shatara, what did you think? What did you think marriage was?
Like before you got into it, what was your ideal of what the? Okay.
Yeah. It was very falsified, I should say. It was some lies, even though we had a good marriage counseling, I took some of that, and I took things that was untrue right along with it. So it was like, wait a minute, your marriage begins at the altar. And a lot of people don't realize that it's at an altar for a reason.
Right.
You're sacrificing yourself, and a lot of things and going into marriage, or me going into marriage, it reveals some certain things in me. I was controlling, because I seen that both sides. And my husband, I seen certain things too as well. But one thing, Takia mom said, that when you trying to change the person, and I'm a witness to that. I was trying to change my husband, and it came out like, well, don't you like who I am? And it's like, yeah, I do. But it's like,
there's certain things though that
right.
Can be a little bit right.
The thing is, I had to show me, okay, take it for instance, you like to be very girly. You like to look a certain way. You like to do your hair. You like to do your nails and stuff. Imagine if he tells you he doesn't like that. And it's like, wait, what?
Like
and
when somebody tells you that they don't like glitter, then they need to find somebody else because I be shivering up.
Look, get somebody else to do it. But the thing,
yeah,
I realize, imagine him telling me, I don't like that. I don't like the way, I don't like the natural hair. This is not what he said, but I'm just saying, I don't like
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, wait a minute, I ain't about to put no relaxer and I'm not straightening. So you just why don't you accept me? And not trying to say like yeah, but stop trying to change. And that was my perception. I was trying to mold him. I was saying God mold him, but I was trying to do the molding.
Oh, that is good. I hope y'all heard that as a whole word right there.
Repeat it. Right. I wish I had like a little horn. Say it one more time. You were saying what?
Listen, I was telling God, I need you to mold it, but at the same time, I was taking full control. I was trying to tell. I was.
It's like, hold on, God, I got this. I can do this better than you. You
right.
take it too long, bro. Like all the time to wait on you. You take it too long.
And imagine that. Imagine us telling our Creator he ain't doing it right.
You taking too long.
He made everything we see and everything there is to come, and we telling him he got this part wrong.
I be telling him like a lot of stuff y'all wouldn't believe. I know God be tired of me in real life. He'd be like, Jamie, why did you even say that? I was like, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. Huh? Oh wait, her screen.
Oh, there I am. So so a lot of things just going into marriage is like, and every marriage is not the same. You cannot I can't look at Takia's marriage, and Takia cannot look at Shatara's marriage. And you just cannot do that. But one thing I love is having.
I don't want you to move from there. Okay. I don't want you to move from there. And the reason why I don't is because a lot of people are losing their marriages because they are coveting something that they're seeing visually on social media and these things. And I don't want you to leave there because it really fits the reality of marriage. People have this reality of marriage because of what they're seeing on the outside until they see the divorce papers. You know, a couple months from now, they look so happy. You know what I'm saying?
9 times out of 10, that couple is experiencing the same thing you experience, but they just know how to go past it. They know how to and that's what I've done. I thought, oh my gosh, what we've been going through is so detrimental. And come to find out, if you hear somebody's testimony, they went through the same thing you went through. And it's like, oh, well, wait a minute. How does that? And it's like, no, they just chose to go to keep going. We made a vow. We said we just had witnesses. We didn't say it to each other. We said it with each other to God. That this is what we're going to do. And a lot of you can't. And I did it like that. I thought me instead of focusing up towards God, I'm looking. So, this marriage look like this, and this marriage look, and it's like, sis, if you focus on God and worry about yourself, and your spouse, stop looking at. And I had to do that. I had to. Okay, wait a minute, and society too. Go ahead.
And people are guilty, and so some people like they really placating on that, and you know to push themselves as a guru and an expertise and all that kind of stuff. And so we've seen the downfall of what that can look like with Derek Jackson. Unfortunately, it's like you can see that everything that is this is
you had to live. Why you had to do that? I didn't even bring the clip up.
Ain't it?
He didn't even claim he was married. So well, you know what? Let's dive into that situation. Wait, let's dive into it because when I watched it, y'all, when I watched her testimony, all I saw was a woman that felt she won. So she was up against a whole bunch of women because he never stopped sleeping around, ever.
See, I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Y'all.
Me either. I never.
Never. And so when she even said when he asked her to marry him, she was like, I won. That's exactly what she said. She said, I won. How many, let's be real, how many women get married on the basis of like, I know that he was dating other people when we were dating, and he chose me. Ooh. How many have gotten married on the chose me syndrome? He chose me.
And see, here's the thing. I don't want to dive in. I don't want to dive into this because this really isn't our part in it. But I will say this: like, what I will say is that, like Shatara said, we can't be looking at what everybody else got just because we think it looks like something on social media. Right. You know, I mean, even my own marriage, I don't want nobody to look like the only thing I want them to see is that we're Black love and we always striving to be better than we were before. We're just continuing to strive, and I hope they see us and we looking like age wine, like we just getting better with time. Like, you know, that's it.
Down in the streets, right.
I don't want you to go, oh my goodness, I want they life, they traveling, they doing. I don't want you to look at none of that. I want you to look at the substance here. Like, we got to get to the substance because that's what we've seen, unfortunately, with Derek. You see him talk to women about how to be a woman and what men want and all this other kind of stuff. And my thing is this: I've always said this, and I will stand on this even from my first episode. A man should not be telling a woman how to be the woman, because the thing of the matter that's perspective. That's all just based off of a different man's perspective. He might tell you, oh, you should be like this, you should be like this, and you should be like this. And another man might not like any of that. He might not like you being so loud and so speaking your mind and da da da. So we got to stop and really listen to what the word says on how to be a woman and what our role is to a man, because we got to get past this whole worldly view and the man giving me topics and this is why he ain't doing this and this is why she ain't doing that.
We got to back up. Here's why: because Derek wasn't really telling a woman how to be a woman. He was telling women men's games, but he was also playing the very same game to his wife. So he was talking about narcissistic men and those type of things, but he was a narcissist himself. He would do it to his wife and then go hop on a video and tell other women not to accept what he was doing to his wife.
But you know, my thing is that I always would say this.
Leave your face. I'm just
we are multipliers. A man can never take what a woman if he allowed a woman to do the same thing. A man will not be able to take it, because
men can't handle what they do to us.
Yeah,
not even in the least bit. They'd be crying. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. I did exactly what a man did to me back to him. And I'm gonna tell you this. One, it felt good. It felt good. I mean, like, good. And it was wrong. Like, the way I did.
That's why.
And the way I ended. Now, I have to say it one more time. It felt good with a T. And it was like, good with a T, not a D. But I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to him. I just know from my understanding, he ain't never been the same, because they can't handle it. He was.
That's the truth.
I asked for forgiveness already. I'm just telling you, when I was not saved,
right,
I was like, oh yeah, you gonna get this smoke, all of it, and I'm gonna make sure it hit just right. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? Thank God for growth, because that's what I'm delivering. That's where I was.
Felt good.
I know. I was that feeling. I was the same way. I was like, baby, I'm doing to you what you do to me. So what's up? What's up? And they cannot handle it, because you're right. They don't be the same. They don't. So, and that's the thing that sometimes it breaks the man to go, oh, well, I don't want a woman ever to be like X, Y, and Z. And, you know, and to me, like, I don't know how you felt, Jamie, after you did it, but when I did it, I was like, I really, like, looking back on it now that I'm in, I really feel bad that I took it upon myself to take on vengeance and versus allowing God to, you know, do his thing. I decided, his stuff ain't speeding up fast enough for me. I need to do it. I need to get him before he get me. Get that.
I didn't know that part in the Bible. I didn't know that the Bible said vengeance is mine. I mean, I was like 18, 19, you feel me? So like, I didn't know that the Bible said vengeance is mine. I just know, for me, when I got saved and got delivered, I felt bad, and I tried to find him to apologize, but I couldn't find him. To even, I'm not from here, so he's back in California. I could not find him nowhere, like no social media, nothing. So yes, when I got saved, I felt bad. But initially, even when I look at the vengeance, I'd be like, I don't know what possessed me then. I had really had some demons for real. I don't know what possessed me to do what I did, but it was a flawless get back. It was beautiful. I'm just saying, like,
because here's the thing, like, let's talk about this because we're gonna wrap up. Okay. But I tell people, like, people just date to date. Like, I don't get that. I get dating and not wasting time, but dating just to date these days, that to me doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because it's like your goal is y'all are either gonna walk down the aisle and do what it do, or you get out the way because you on some other man's woman, and vice versa. And so I just think
it was the last part.
We have to be delivered, like you said, from that type of stuff that we want to take in our own hands. Because I had to do the same thing. I had to be delivered from that. I had to do a lot of other stuff. But I'm just like, I want this show so people can, for women to come in that's single, married, even in between there, to go, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I need to stop. I need to let that go. I don't need to take that with me into this next journey, into this next season, because someone will be okay with, they were okay with getting got, and I don't know the Lord like that, maybe all too well, but I'm gonna get him back.
I'm pretty sure
my husband, but that's not how it works. You're a team. You are a team, and you are operating in one. And one thing I'll say in closing for myself is that I tell my daughter that you cannot break up the team. I tell her this. Now, I heard this somewhere from someone that said, you cannot break up the team. So I tell my kids that they can't break up the team. So in other words, if you go to your dad and your dad tells you something and then you come to me and I tell you something else, you have caused conflict on our team.
Gotcha.
You cannot break up our team. And so I take the role of, if your daddy told you no, the answer is no. I don't care how much I want to say yes. The answer is no. I'm on my husband's team. My husband's on my team. So if I tell Aria to do something, he emphasizes it to Aria. Like, your mama just said X, Y, and Z. Go do X, Y, and Z. We are a team. And so when she tries that, and so she okay, I know, don't break up the team. Yep, don't break up the team. Because the thing is, the end of the day is the marriage. We got to continue on being with each other. And our kids leave the nest. They go on about their life and they start their own life.
And they be 30 years down the road. You know, that one time that you told her that I said to do this, and then you told her that she could do this. I'm still mad at you like that. 30 years down the road, you find the kid out the house. Like, I can't trust you. You know, we're not on the same team. You know how we are. We hold on to it for a long time. He would sit there and do that one thing that triggers that. Right? You're like, bruh, I knew I couldn't trust you that one time you did that with our child. You can be like, 30 years ago? Yeah, I knew then. I knew he wasn't it then. I knew. Felt it in my spirit.
You said something. You said, what does a team look like?
Yeah. And I meant that. I meant that because in this society, don't nobody know what a team is.
Right.
And when the team is failing, everybody, what I've experienced is people jump ship. Like when it's not looking gold anymore and the work really has to be put in, I be rowing the boat by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So what does a team look like? Because when I was growing up, and I was like, I even posted something about being a cheerleader. When I couldn't get my 5 push-ups in, I'm being for real. Like when I originally started, couldn't do my 5 push-ups like everybody else could do like 15, 20, because I was not fit for like that, doing no push-ups. I wasn't planning on spotting no big girls anyways. You feel me? Like I'm not trying to throw nobody up in the air anyways. I'm betting. And so those my teammates were they rocked with me until I was able to get it. Like they were like, this is how we're gonna go slow with you until you can get it as a team. So until I can get it, they did what I could do as a team until we can get it together. Does that make sense? And they worked with me after school and all of those type of things. And so I asked that question now because it's rare that you see that. And even kids, or even in today's society with like people, like when it's just not looking good, they just be like, well, I'm going to go to something else until, you know, you look like you're back on top and then I'll pop back up. And you're like, no, you can't pop back up because rowing this boat was real hard by myself. And I'm going to enjoy the fruits of this boat by myself. But you don't want to. That's why you thought you had a team, right? Mm-hmm. So what does that look like for real? Because it's a universal thing. A team is, with the dynamics of a team, to me, is a universal definition. What does that look like, though? You know, when it comes to marriage,
it's I got your back, you got mine. It's us against everybody else. Mm-hmm. And one thing, you know, I always said to what I pride myself on my mom is she taught me and my siblings to not only be siblings but be friends too. So that taught me to have my friends back, but at the same time they're gonna tell me I'm wrong and I'm gonna tell them they're wrong, but at the end of the day we got each other back, right? And so that even stuck with me in my marriage. Like, you my man, I'm your woman, like I got your back, but you have to understand people don't even grow up, some people don't grow up like that. They're you know, it's their mothers or their fathers or their siblings stab them in the back. They don't know how to trust. They don't know how to, you say you got my back because my mama said she had my back and look what she did, or my mommy issues, daddy issues, and siblings and stuff like that. They don't know what that feels. And some marriages, you got one person to be like, I got your back. The other person not to say that they don't want to have your back. They don't know how to. Right. They just never. It's like marriage sometimes can come to your second half. Like some people get married real early, and that's real good. And some people, imagine, like I was in my 30s when my early 30s when I got married. That's like the second part of my, you know, going the second part of my life. I done been a certain way for 30 years old. I mean 30 years before I got married. And it's like, can you imagine? And I grew up with that. I had that, like, well, I had your back and things like that. And some people didn't grow up like that. They have to learn that. Can you imagine? Especially when somebody, like, think about it in the word, when the man was bound for 38 years. It was a long time.
A long time.
And everybody in the city knew. They were just okay with it. He was just okay. Go.
Right. So it don't even get the emphasis whether he was born like that or how old he was. Right. So can you imagine, seriously, imagine him being in his 20s bound for 38 years. Starting at his 20s. It's like he's an adult. He's set in his ways. He wanna do what he want, and you trying to change. That's a long time. We thinking from year one when they was born, they was bound. No, baby. It'll probably be like from their teens or early 20s or who we don't know. And you have to realize, like, that's a long time. And then all of a sudden you have to, what you've been doing was wrong for X amount of time. So it's like, oof.
But here's the thing. The best thing to do, Jamie, though, is that to have that solid friendship, to have that partnership of I got your back, you got my back. But the most important thing is just take God with you. Right. Just take him with you. Because that way, you know, to me, I feel like my bases are covered because God is going to do the miracle part that I can't do. The miracle part that I might.
It has to be a miracle. For some people, it got to be a whole miracle. No, I'm for real. Like for some people, like she's saying, some people are been set in their ways for 30 years, right? So the only person that could come through and change any of that would be God, because other than that, it's gonna take a whole miracle. For that to happen.
And that's what the word said. He said the heart of the king is in my hand. I can turn it which way I choose to.
Wherever way I want to.
And that's one thing I've learned to pray for myself and my spouse, for our heart to be in the hand of God. Choose and he can turn. I'm like, Lord, even when I'm coming, I feel like I'm coming against a brick wall. I have to say, Lord, his heart is in your hands. That's what you said. You his God. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not gonna manipulate. I'm not gonna control. I'm not gonna do none of that. But what I want you to, I'm coming to you because you're the only one that can change. Only you.
A surrender state.
Exactly. And that you have to be, because if not, you want all your life unnecessary stuff. And God gonna be like, when you stand before the Lord and be like, you wasted it. Why didn't you do this? Well, Lord, I was coming to you. No, that ain't your life. Like he ain't being a wife ain't your life, like fully like your life. No, that's a part of your life. And a lot of women do that. We do that.
That's your role. That's just the role you play.
It's just a role.
Yes, guys, man. I could go on and on, but we winding down. So definitely final thoughts around the horn, and let's set it up.
Well, I'm just sitting here praying, okay, for myself right now.
Y'all gotta pray. Pray without ceasing.
Yeah, I be praying.
That's my thing.
I can't even say that. I'm real stubborn. Like God could be like, Jamie, didn't I tell you to do this for the next 3 days? And I'd be like, but I don't want to. Like, because I'm upset, right? And so, like, I be having real life moments.
And that's why you have to do it even, have obedience even beyond how you feel. Because me and Tatara even talked about that today. I was like, man, I have to get out of the fact, why am I like this? When I don't get my way in something, I just like shut down. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do anything that I might have told you I've already done, or I wanted to do, or we were going to do. And I have to get out of that, because to have complete obedience is doing the thing, even regardless of how you feel, regardless of your feelings with it. So definitely, girl, I'll stand in prayer with you with that, because I know how it is. I know how that is. I'm tested to that.
And just think, I'm coming from this perspective that I didn't even want nothing like that, right? So like my stubbornness kicks in, because I was like, I didn't want it anyway. You feel me? Like, so what? For real? Like I didn't want nothing like that anyway. So I don't feel like doing that, and I don't feel like doing that. Can my prayers be over here doing this instead? And that's not what he said, right? And so it is the willingness to not be selfish, because I be selfish,
and that's what marriage does. It reveals yourself, whether you're selfless or you're selfish.
Come on. Yep.
Yeah,
that's the truth. That's the truth. And on that note,
I didn't like the way that smelled. I didn't like.
On that note, guys, I am so glad you guys joined us on Wife Talk tonight. Listen, if you want to join the conversation next time, definitely leave a comment in there. We'll shout you out the next time we get back on here. Every last Wednesday of the month, we are on here, Wife Talk. We're talking to the everyday woman that's stepping into their roles, that are ready to step into their wife role. They're really shining a light on that, having real authentic conversations about the realities of marriage, the realities of singlehood, and the list goes on and on. So definitely stay tuned to another episode that we are going to have for you guys next month, last Wednesday of that month. And I'm excited. Jamie, got anything?
Well, I do want to say, like, if we can have her back. And then but here's why. Because there's a part that I want to hear you talk about your real, like the full testimony, if God allows you to, right? So pray about that. But because her story is so good. Like, and her story is a lot right. There's a lot of people kind of going through and I don't want to tell your story.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I don't want to tell you, but I mean, like that, if you can, whenever we decide what the subject is going to be, just come back and give that testimony on how you even, your husband and I would, because I know about two single people in your position. That would be, not me.
Absolutely.
But
I love it. Let me tell you something.
I'm trying to say too much. Like, I feel like I just don't even want to say any part of her story. You get what I'm saying? Like,
right. Let me just tell you something. Shatara actually supposed to be in this role, and I've already told her, and I'm like, but she's already got her own confirmation for it.
Right.
So I just think that's important to even put that out there. Like, this is, I don't know if she was nervous. I don't know if you were nervous, Shatara. Were you nervous?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So, like, because this is where you're supposed to flow at.
Right.
And I think that's the difference when this is where I'm supposed to flow at. This is where I'm supposed to do that. And you just come in and just own your position in this. And so I love it. Yes, we definitely got to have her back on the show and to talk further into some of this.
Do 3 people and then just be good with it. Like, I mean, why don't we just do that? I don't see why not. I think that would just make sense, right? I mean, that's why. And I'm just saying, like, perspective wise, is because, like, have your perspective on what was it we were talking about, where it was, you're good with money, right?
Right.
And then you're not good with money, right? And so, like, that's still 2 great dynamics. And then your story is good too, Kia, because you were like, I'm the single woman, I am doing my thing, I did not who are you? Why are you here, sir? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Jamie, this is really like Elizabeth Mary type thing, because we was there from the beginning. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, so listening even to her testimony on her and her spouse, I'm like, I was there. She ain't lying. She did not budge. She stood her ground. Like, she was like, we was there from the beginning. We rocked with each other. 2008. And during our singlehood, and it's like, just to see how far this woman came. And even as far as with me, it's like, Lord, even getting into this moment right here, it's like, okay, Lord. So for you, when you said something like 3 people, the Holy Spirit said something. I'm just waiting. So you said that, I was like, oh Lord.
Well, I be disobedient in one thing. Like, I don't be disobedient in all. It's just that one thing. You feel me? Like,
right. But Jamie, guess what? It was a confirmation she had. I won't get into it, but we had a confirmation beforehand. I said, well, we're going to pray about it and we're going to see what it unfolds. Right. I had no idea she had texted me. I just talked. I was listening and was in my word. I told her I'm going into my word. I'm going to listen to Myron. I'm going to take notes and da-da-da. And he said something in it that I was like, oh, this is confirmation. I need to go back and tell her. So before I even seen the text, she had called me. We were sitting there talking. Yeah. So I think you need to be on here because and then I looked. I said, I didn't even know you texted me.
Right. Right. And it's like, oh my gosh. So for you to even say something, Jamie, when you said 3 people, the Holy Spirit already put in my mind 3 people, and I'm just like,
and I didn't know nothing about it, like none of the other stuff at all. That's so.
You have to be in alignment, y'all. I'm telling, if y'all don't take anything that I have said, be in alignment with the Holy Spirit, and He's going to place people in your life that needs to be there, and take people that need to be in there out. And you cannot hold on. You cannot whatever. I know it, and just know that we have a job to do. So
absolutely, I love it.
That was great.
Right.
Okay, well, that was a great way to end it. So you'll see the three of us next month at the end of the month. Look.
Like,
And do we know what the subject is for next month, though?
I'm sorry, I don't have my notes in front of me. I don't have my notes in front of me. I
think
cannot
that you
tell
had wanted to do the single perspective of like dating before.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
So like me dating and like in that realm, and then you guys what your life was like dating before meeting your husband.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was.
Ooh,
it's going to be
perfect.
So we did the realities of marriage, realities of dating,
right there.
Realities of dating and singlehood.
Yes, while being a believer, because it hit.
Yes.
Oh, y'all about to look at y'all lives now and be like, you know what? You're out. Start serving them notice.
Oh, because Jamie, I have my list, and I cannot wait to go down it. I have a list, and I just shared it with Shatara. I'm like, I have a list of what I wanted in a man. I have it still.
I do too. I have a list,
we're gonna talk about
a list of what I would not take. I don't want none of this right here. No comment. I'm gonna just leave that. We can talk about.
We're gonna talk about it. Bring your list, and everybody out there, bring your list. Bring your list, and we're gonna compare, and we're gonna go ahead and get rid of some of that gunk stuff that you got on that list.
Right.
That don't need to be on there.
Right.
It's gonna hurt you. It might hurt your feelings, but it's gonna save your life.
It is gonna hurt my feelings.
But it's gonna save you. It's gonna save you heartache and headache later.
I didn't have well, maybe I did. I knew what I wanted, but at one point, like, Lord, you that's for me. You know, and that's going into my. Yeah, we just want to leave it like that.
Right. So I was like, it's just.
So you'll see.
All right.
So you'll see Jamie. Wave. You'll see Jamie. You'll see Shatara. And you'll see me, Kia, on the next episode of Wife Talk. I'm super excited.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.